I want to bring in Democratic member of the committee that you just heard there in that clip, Senator John Hickenlooper of Colorado. Quite the stark exchange there, Senator. What are your key takeaways from what you heard in that room today?
Well, I think you had a very credible presentation of two devoted public servants who have given their lives to making our nation safer and healthier. And I thought that ending was very powerful. One of them is worried that we're undermining and corroding the basic trust in public health. And then the other was talking about the next big pandemic that we get. We won't be prepared. We've laid off so many people. We're not going to be prepared to not just save our country, but save the world. So I think that's pretty stark. And I do think, I heard at the beginning of your show, I think voters are going to care. I think we're going to see not just Republican voters, but independent voters, many of whom have supported Donald Trump, saying, hey, this isn't what I signed up for.
And you see your colleagues across the aisle starting to express their concern. You have Senator Cassidy clearly pressing for answers here. Are the conversations that you are having with your colleagues in the committee behind closed doors mirroring what we see out in the public sphere?
Well, in the public sphere, you're seeing all different facets of the same crystal. It's the same things behind closed doors. There are lots of conversations going on, but they're not all aligned. I think there is general concern when you're talking about the health care of the country. You're talking about the health of our children. There has to be a very high level of vigilance, and I think there's a worry, and they're not just Democrats but Republicans as well, that this is just a kind of a rampant denial of science and throwing it off to the waste bins to the side. And let's get this ACIP committee handpicked for people that are pretty much all have demonstrated some level of they're deniers of the value of vaccines and the testing of vaccines. Let's get those people making the decisions. I think there's going to be a real pushback, not just in blue states, but across the country.
Your colleague and the chair of this committee, Senator Cassidy, has been public about his concerns over Kennedy, but he ultimately did vote to confirm him anyway. Do you see a situation where, and as you mentioned, you believe that maybe Republicans and even independents are going to feel a certain way about this, but is there a way in which, or a scenario in which Republicans can pressure the president to potentially fire RFK Jr.?
Well, I don't think they're trying to pressure the president. I don't think that hasn't been a great success in very many places. But the president does reverse himself, and I think he does pay attention. And I'm going to guess he probably watched this hearing, or at least portions of the hearing. And at a certain point, he'll make that decision and say, enough is enough. We need to make a change here. And sometimes that change, that reversal, comes with very little forewarning. I would hope that the secretary is watching and paying attention, and maybe he moderates some of. I think everyone wants to hear all the different sides of these arguments, but they don't want a whitewashing. They don't want to have just all the arguments against your point to be kind of swept aside and obliterated. You want to hear both sides, and I think that one thing that came out in this hearing was that science needs to be agnostic. It needs to be blind except to the facts that it uncovers, right? The research and then the discovery that comes from those facts.
Radical transparency is the term we keep hearing over and over. Senator John Hickenlooper, thank you so much for taking time out of a very busy day to be with us. We appreciate it.